Welcome to Messianic Age. Today is the 12th of April 2026. We are living in the end times and we need to understand what is happening now and what will happen very soon in terms of biblical prophecy and in terms of the chronology. The end time chronology consists of 5 stages. The first stage is the four horsemen, which is occurring right now as I speak. The second stage is the two witnesses, which will last for 3.5 years. The third stage is the Antichrist, which will last for 3.5 years. The fourth stage is the Messianic Age, the rule of Jesus the Messiah, which will last for 1,000 years. And the fifth stage is the new heaven and the new earth, which will last forever. So let's delve deeper into these 5 stages, starting with the four horsemen, stage 1. The first horse is the white horse. Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. Now I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. The rider of the white horse goes out to conquer without an arrow on his bow. So he is conquering without bloodshed. The white horse corresponds with deception that Jesus prophesied in Matthew 24, verses 4 and 5. We read, "And Jesus answered and said to them, Take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, or I am the Messiah, and will deceive many." This is already happening. The white horse is the horse of deception. The second horse is the red horse. In Revelation chapter 6, verses 3 and 4, we read, "When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, Come and see." Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another, and there was given to him a great sword. The red horse is the horse representing wars. In Matthew 24, verses 6 and 7a, we read, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all this must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For ethnic group will rise against ethnic group." Many Bibles translate this passage as "nation shall rise against nation," but the Greek says ethnos. Therefore, it means ethnic group will rise against ethnic group. There will be ethnic conflict. There will be rise in racism. And kingdom will rise against kingdom, which means that a nation will rise against nation, as Russia rose against Ukraine, as Israel rose against Syria and Lebanon and Gaza, as Israel rose against Iran, as the United States in cahoots with Israel rose against Iran. That is the second horse. The third horse is the black horse. In Revelation chapter 6, verses 5 and 6a, we read, "When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, Come and see. So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, A quart of wheat for a denarius, and the 3 quarts of barley for a denarius." A denarius was the currency of the Roman Empire, which is equivalent to today's American dollar. A denarius at that time was equivalent to a day's wage. A day's wage could only buy a quart of wheat or 3 quarts of barley. In other words, there will be a dramatic increase in food price inflation due to food shortages. The black horse represents famine that Jesus prophesied about in Matthew 24, verse 7b. We read, "And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places." Famines will result in weak human immune systems, which will lead to outbreaks in various diseases. We also need to watch out for earthquakes, which will increase in frequency and intensity. The fourth horse is the green horse. In Revelation chapter 6, verses 7 and 8, we read, "When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, 'Come and see.' So I looked, and behold, a green horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given to them," that is, death and hell, "over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth." The green horse represents death resulting from wars caused by the red horse and famines caused by the black horse. The war in Iran, which has engulfed almost the entire Middle East, is leading to a worldwide famine and death on a mass scale. According to the above scriptures, 25% of the Earth's population, or about 2 billion people, will die because of wars, that is the red horse, and famines, that is the black horse, and go to hell because they don't believe in Jesus. In Hebrew, the name Jesus is Yahweh Yasha, which means Yahweh's salvation, and is often shortened to Yasha, Yeshu, or Yesu. Jesus saves his followers from eternal death and hell. So that is the first stage of the 4 horsemen. Now let's look at the second stage, which is the stage of the 2 witnesses, which comes shortly after the 4 horses have been introduced. The 2 witnesses will preach the gospel of the kingdom to all the nations as a witness for 1,260 days, the period equivalent to 3.5 years. Revelation 11 verse 3 says, "And I, Jesus, will give authority to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth." Matthew 24 verse 14a reads, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations." One of the 2 witnesses will be Elijah, the prophet who never died because he was taken to heaven in a whirlwind. God will send him back to restore the biblical Israel, as opposed to the modern state of Israel, which is not biblical. In Malachi chapter 4, verses 5 and 6a, we read, "Behold, I will send you," that's God speaking to his people Israel, "I'll send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh." That is the day that Jesus returns, before that day. "And he will turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers," that he will implore Israel to repent and go back to Yahweh their God. That concludes stage 2. Stage 3 is the Antichrist, which occurs after the 2 witnesses. A new empire of the Antichrist will rise and replace the American empire, and will rule for 42 months, that is 3.5 years. Revelation 11 verses 7 and 11 and 12 we read, when they, that is the two witnesses, finish their testimony, the beast, that is the false prophet of the Antichrist, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit will make war against them, that is the two witnesses, overcome them and kill them. Now, after the 3.5 days, the breath of life from God entered them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell on those who saw them. And they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, "Come up here." And they ascended to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies saw them. So the two witnesses will be resurrected, and the new empire of the Antichrist will begin. Revelation 13, verses 1a and verse 5b read, "Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast, that is the Antichrist, rising up out of the sea. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months, that is 3.5 years. So the rule of the Antichrist will last for 3.5 years. Stage 4 is the Messianic age, which comes after the rule of the Antichrist. Jesus will return. He will destroy the empire of the Antichrist, and he will rule for 1,000 years. Revelation 19:20, "Then the beast, that is the Antichrist, was captured, and with him the false prophet. These two were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstone." Revelation 20, verses 1 and 2. "Then I saw an angel coming down from heaven, having the key to the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold of the dragon, that serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. Revelation 20, verse 4, "And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was committed to them. Then I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for their witness of Jesus and for the word of God, who had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had not received this mark on their foreheads or on their hands. And they lived," that is, they were resurrected. "They lived and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. The fifth and final stage is the new heaven and a new earth, which occurs after the 1,000-year reign of Jesus. After the 1,000-year reign of Jesus, the last judgment will occur and will be followed by the creation of the new heaven and a new earth that will last forever and ever. Revelation 20, verses 10, 12, and 15. "The devil was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged according to their works by the things which were written in the books. And anyone not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire." Revelation 21, verse 1a and verse 4. "Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. And there shall be no more death, no sorrow, no crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away." So those are the 5 stages of end time. Let's recap quickly in conclusion. Let's recap. Stage 1 is the 4 horsemen that is occurring now. It involves deception, it involves wars, it involves famines, it involves death that will take 25% of the world's population, or about 2 billion people. Stage 2 is the 2 witnesses. Their ministry will last for 3.5 years. Stage 3 is the Antichrist. His empire will last for 3.5 years. Therefore, from the coming of the 2 witnesses to the end of the empire of the Antichrist is exactly 7 years. Stage 4 is Messianic age. that will last 1,000 years. And stage 5 is the new heaven and a new earth, which will last for eternity. This is the chronology of the end time that God has put in his word, that we may know, that we may understand, and not be deceived. Thank you.